Imagine this. You've been a police officer for 3 years. Most of your job is writing speeding tickets. It's 2 a.m. You're working a routine speed checkpoint. A car comes flying by, well over the limit. You've done this exact stop more than 500 times before. You're bored. The only thing on your mind is what you're going to eat after your shift. You walk up to the driver's window and knock. The window rolls down. A man in his 30s. He's sweating, visibly nervous, both hands gripping the steering wheel. You ask for his license. Instead of looking at you, he keeps glancing at the passenger seat. There's an open bag beside him, and something feels off. You're not scared, but you're alert. Your hand stays close to your holster. Suddenly, his hand moves toward his waist. You react, but he's faster. This is the true story of an American police officer who was shot in the head and survived. He later described exactly what it felt like, and medical research tells a very similar story. A standard 9mm bullet weighs about 7.5 grams and can travel at roughly 820 miles per hour. That means it reaches you before you even hear the gunshot. When it strikes your skull, the bone doesn't simply crack, it fractures in every direction, almost like a spider web. Fragments of your own skull become deadly shrapnel inside your brain. But the bullet doesn't just punch a hole. It creates something called a temporary cavity, where the surrounding brain tissue is violently pushed outward before collapsing back. Your brain is about 73% water, with a soft, jelly-like consistency. As the bullet passes through, it tears apart blood vessels, nerves, and anything in its path. Where you're hit makes all the difference. If the bullet enters the brainstem, it's essentially over instantly. Breathing, heartbeat, and consciousness are all controlled there. But in this scenario, you're incredibly lucky. The bullet enters just above your left eye, passes through the frontal lobe, exits the back of your head, and narrowly misses the brainstem by about 5 centimeters. You don't die immediately. You've just been given a terrifying preview of what comes next. Now, let's break down what happens, second by second. At 0 milliseconds, the bullet enters. You're still in the middle of drawing your weapon. The bullet passes clean through your head and exits, leaving a wound roughly the size of a golf ball. At 100 milliseconds, your legs stop working. You collapse instantly. Blood pours from both the entrance and exit wounds. Your heart is still beating, 1 to 5 seconds. Here's the truly terrifying part. You're still partially conscious. Your eyes are open, but your vision is badly distorted. Colors blur together. Sounds become muffled. You try to move, but your body won't respond. The connection between wanting to move and actually moving has been severed. Even your breathing feels strange. You gasp. Then gasp again. These aren't normal breaths. They're the brain's final attempts to keep the body alive. Meanwhile, the shooter has already fled. You're lying alone on a dark highway at 2 in the morning, your patrol car's lights still flashing. 5 to 15 seconds. Brain cells begin dying by the thousands. Your entire body shakes uncontrollably. The convulsions aren't voluntary. They're caused by chaotic electrical activity inside the dying brain. 15 to 25 seconds. Your heartbeat becomes irregular. There isn't enough oxygen anymore. One last breath. Then, nothing. The heart finally stops. Total time, about 23 seconds.
So, what would it actually feel like? Everything is completely normal until the suspect suddenly pulls a gun. Your brain instantly screams, "Move!" But before you can react, you're shot. Then comes a flash, and everything begins falling apart. It's not overwhelming pain. It's not even pure fear. It's confusion. Imagine your computer freezing. Everything is still technically running, but nothing responds anymore. You try to think. You try to understand what's happening. It's like trying to remember a dream the moment you wake up. It keeps slipping away. People who survived gunshots to the head often describe something very similar. First, intense confusion. Then, nothing. It's not like falling asleep. There isn't a gradual fade. You're simply there, and then you're not. A quick comparison between different firearms. 9mm handgun. If the brainstem isn't hit and medical help arrives quickly, survival rates can be around 15 to 20%. .45 ACP handgun. Slower, but heavier. It generally causes greater damage, with survival dropping to around 10%. AR-15 rifle. Roughly 3 times faster than a handgun round. Instead of simply creating a wound channel, it causes devastating damage to surrounding tissue. Survival is under 2%. Shotgun at close range, the odds are extremely poor. A recent study in the United States reported that approximately 50 to 60 American police officers are killed by gunfire during traffic stops and roadside encounters each year. The hardest part is that there's often no reliable way to identify who poses a deadly threat. The person who shoots you looks exactly like the 50 drivers you stopped earlier that day. In the end, there isn't always a lesson. There isn't always a mistake you could have avoided. Sometimes you did everything right. You stayed alert, and it still happened. So here's the takeaway. A gunshot to the head happens incredibly fast. It's chaotic, and it's not as rare as many people think. The good news is that survivors often report they didn't experience prolonged suffering in the immediate moment. The bad news? There may be no chance to say goodbye. It's just one moment of confusion, and then nothing. And if anyone ever asks what it feels like, tell them it's like a Windows computer trying to install an update, frozen forever at 99%. See you in the next video.